Good morning, Year 10. Hopefully you are okay today. The poem I'm looking at today is called A Child to a Sick Grandfather, and it's one I've been holding back because it's quite a sad poem dealing with the death of a family member. So if you uh, don't feel up for this one at the moment, and if you want to just leave this one today, that's absolutely fine by me. You can come back to it sometime in the future. Um, so with that kind of warning in place, let's move on now and actually look at the poem. So before we start the actual reading of the poem, let's have a brief introduction to it and one things to look out for as we go through the text. First of all, the poem is a very moving text about a young child and his very ill grandfather. The poem is from the perspective of the young child. They are innocent and don't really understand how poorly his grandfather is. So we get this lovely, sweet, innocent point of view where we see through the child's eyes, and how the child is feeling and how the child is confused and got questions and so on, how desperate the child is to play with the grandfather. The child goes through lots of activities that they enjoy doing with their grandfather, so there's a whole list of things that they've done in the past and things that the child is desperate to do again in the future. There's a real sense of this child wanting to play with his grandfather again. There are other people in the poem, and they're very much on the periphery, on the outside of the poem. They're kind of mentioned by the speaker um, towards the kind of midpoint. And what they serve to do is they show the reader through the behaviour of the adults in these groups of people that the grandfather is seriously ill. But at the same time, they are not telling the child about the situation that the grandfather's in. So the adults around the child and around the grandfather are both showing us how serious grandfather is, but also protecting the child from the truth, trying not to upset the young child. The end of the poem is really it's sweet, it's beautiful, but it's really upsetting as well, because it's unclear if the grandfather has died, but that's because the child doesn't understand what's happened. From the reader's point of view, we know that the grandfather's died, but because we're seeing it through the child's eyes, he he just kind of he might be thinking that Grandad's just fallen asleep. So it's a really really sweet, sad ending, um, just reinforcing the innocence of the child as he's kind of been there when his granddad's died, but hasn't necessarily realised that's what's happened at the point it's happened. So it's a really sweet ending, but really sad at the same time. Now, the poem is written by Joanna Baillie, and it was from 1790, so it's quite old. And like I said in my intro, I've held this one back. So normally I would teach this poem much earlier in the sequence, sometime probably after La Belle Dance Sans Merci. In many times it's the case it's been the second poem we would have looked at, but due to circumstances, I've held this one back. And because it's such an old poem, getting on for 200 years and plus, there's some words that we probably would find a bit tricky. So here's a glossary of some of the words that might be tricky or might be a little bit confusing. There's still some on the notes as well, but I just thought I'd put them on the screen as well for you to see straight up. So stocked, wearing stockings or long socks. So that's what the granddad is wearing. This particular item of clothing to keep his legs warm. Okay, suggesting that his circulation might not be very good, or he's got a really cold temperature, so he needs to keep warm. Course is an old word for body, but it also has a kind of a link to the idea of corpse, which is a dead body. So that choice of word is symbolic. What means no. Wheel means welfare or well-being. Doff means take off. You might still hear people say doff your cap, which means take your hat off. I is always ever or always. It's a Scottish source. Partlet is a hen. Nod, as in nod off and start to fall asleep. And finally, a technical term for this poem is a sestet, which is the stanza of 6 lines. So most of those words have come from the poem, but the last one is a technical term to help us understand one of the elements of the form. Right, let's read the poem. A child to his sick grandfather. Grandad, they say you're old and frail. Your stocked legs begin to fail. Your knob stick that was my horse can scarce support your bended course, while back toward you lean so sad. I'm vexed to see you, Dad. You used to smile and stroke my head and tell me how good children did, but now I wot not how it be. You seldom take me on your knee, yet nevertheless I am right glad to sit beside you, Dad. How lank and thin your beard hangs down, scant are the white hairs on your crown. How wan and hollow are your cheeks, your brow is rough with crossing breaks. But yet for all his strength be fled, I love my own old Dad. The housewives round their potions brew, and gossips come to ask for you, and for your weal each neighbour cares, and good men kneel and say their prayers, and everybody looks so sad when you are ailing, Dad. You will not die and leave us then. Rouse up and be our Dad again. When you are quiet and laid in bed, we'll doff our shoes and softly tread, and when you wake, we'll aye be near to fill old Dad his cheer. When through the house you shift your stand, I'll lead you kindly by the hand. When dinner's set, I'll with you bide, and I be serving at your side. And when the weary fire turns blue, I'll sit and talk with you. I have a tale, both long and good, about a partlet and her brood, and cunning greedy fox that stole, by dead of midnight, through a hole, which slyly to the hen roost led. You love a story, Dad. And then I have a wondrous tale of men all clad in coats of mail, with glittering swords. You nod, I think. Your fixed eyes begin to wink. Down on your bosom sinks your head. You do not hear me, Dad. So some thoughts about this poem. There is a consistent rhyme pattern to the poem, AA, BB, CC, and this gives the poem a childlike effect. Not all the rhymes are perfect, but there's definitely an attempt to have that kind of rhyme pattern all the way through the poem. And depending on your accent, some of the words might rhyme better as well. The stanza length is consistent and regular. Each stanza is 6 lines each. It makes it a sestet, and the combination of the rhyme and the consistent regular length of the stanzas gives this poem real stability, and that stability represents the grandfather's role in the child's life. The grandfather means the world to this boy, and uh, the way the boy talks to the grandfather, you can see how important he is to him. The use of the word dad rather than granddad is also quite significant because by using the word dad, it kind of raises the importance of this grandfather to being a kind of a father figure, not a grandfather, but a father figure for this boy. And it may be that there's a gap in the family, and the grandfather has filled that space. The structure is simple and tells the story of the grandfather's illness from the child's point of view. The start shows the grandfather is beginning to be less playful, and at the end there's a hint the grandfather's died, a very strong hint. I think you'll agree. Because the child's speaker, the language is simple most of the time. Now there are a few moments where it's a little bit more complicated, but most of the time the words are short and very straightforward. Finally, on this point on this page, the poem is a direct address. So the use of the second person pronoun you, which is what the speaker uses, it's like the speaker's talking directly to the grandfather. But the consequence of that is that the reader is put into the grandfather's position. So we are in this really close relationship with the speaker, and we can see the desperation of the child to play and to please the grandfather. But a secondary effect of this this direct address is that we feel the frustration of the grandfather who's unable to join in and play with his grandson. So we get this simple use of just the word you has such a powerful effect on the poem because we understand exactly how the child feels and we're in the position of the grandfather who's unable to join in and play. So it's a really clever, so simple technique that has such a massive effect. So your questions today, Year 10, as always, there's 3 of them. So the first one is, what mood does the title set for the poem? So, the titles are usually very, very important for these poems. How does this title set a tone? And obviously, I think you probably want to look at the word sick and how that kind of indicates that we're dealing with a potentially quite a sad poem. Question 2, what effect does the rhyme scheme have on the overall tone of the poem? So we kind of I covered this in the video already, but the use of those A B B C C pattern. What's the effect of that? How does it make the poem feel? And finally, question 3, a very specific moment of the poem is in line 14 when the speaker uses the word crown. And I want to try and think what that might mean and how it might be significant for this poem. Okay, so those are the 3 questions. And as always, I remind you to reread the poem, use the notes that you've got, go through the poem, read the annotations, then read a page of notes, and then have a go at these questions. Okay, good luck with that, and I hope you're okay. And I'll set you some more work tomorrow. Okay, take care, Year 10. Bye for now.